Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2023 Music City Open presented by Lone Star Disc. We are here in Nashville, Tennessee for stop 4 of the Disc Golf Pro Tour. We are well into the season now. I am Jerm, joined as always by Paul Ulibarri. Got BigBarri commentary bringing you all the action here in Nashville, Tennessee this weekend. And we have a wonderful starting round for you. But Paul?
Yeah, we got a pre-sale right now for Two Hot Geese Honky Tonk apparel. We got crew necks. We got, what else we got? We got 2 shirts, 2 different kinds of shirts, and we have a hoodie. So that's a little sneak peek right there. That's beautiful.
These things are sweet. Take a little course close up. This is one of the top destinations in Tennessee. This course has been improved. We've played a couple different iterations of this course here at Friends at Mill Ridge Park, but real quick, let's get into International Course Cleanup Weekend. UDISC and Trash Panda are teaming up for International Course Cleanup Weekend on April 22nd and 23rd. Head to udisc.com/events to find a course cleanup near you or create one of your own.
That's great.
Create one of your own. Clean up these courses, guys. Well, we've got a feature card here today for you to aspire to. We've got Calvin Heimburg, hottest player on planet Earth, scorching lately. We've got Nikko, Locastro, obviously one of the top players on Team Lone Star. We've got the absolute slayer of the Music City. I mean, this guy is just jamming at this event every year. Dickerson, obviously hometown hero, Tennessee Titan, and the ageless, the incredible, the tide roller, Matt Orum, out here doing his thing for the 3rd straight decade, just kicking butt everywhere he goes.
Yeah, hole 1, par 4, 668 feet. Through this gap we go, up the hill to the left, and then around this little corner. We do have OB on the left, so make sure you remember that in case somebody does try to go the big Anheuser. Saw a couple people do it, actually, which is pretty risky.
Yeah.
And then up this hill we go, kind of a little high rise.
Yeah, I actually didn't see that in practice, and then the first thing I saw when we stepped up to the tee was, the Annie, it's there.
Yeah.
The
And sorry, just one more shout out to our FPO. You know?
Yeah.
Let's go buy those shirts. Madison and Erica are doing a great job.
You don't have to worry about that. I think our fans are going to support them.
Good.
Everywhere I see Madison and Erica, people are just saying honk, honk. I mean,
that's awesome. That's
those shirts are really well designed.
Well, every little bit helps. So I say go out there again.
Nikko with a nice hyzer. The thing you really would like to do on this hole with this hyzer is swing left. The straighter you go,
the harder it is.
The harder the angle is for that second shot. So you kind of want to keep it tight to these trees here on the left side. But like you said, there is OB on the left side, so you don't want to get too tight.
Matteo has a pretty powerful forehand, but I wouldn't say he's like known for a power forehand. Nikko either. So the farther left you go and the farther you go is really what you're looking for. Power players can throw it straight, and then they can just throw a spike hyzer.
Yeah.
And Calvin either. I mean, nobody really on this card. Calvin has a pretty powerful one, but I don't see him throw it high very often, and that's kind of what you need on your second shot here.
This tee shot, very good. Very close to those trees, but you can see how much closer to the bottom of the hill he is than Nikko. That's going to open up that angle significantly. Yeah, I feel like each one of these players has about... They got 375 in the bag.
Yeah, right around there, yeah.
Hi, I'm Chris Dickerson. I'm from Limestone, Tennessee, and I'm a 4-time Music City Open champion. What I remember mostly from my childhood growing up in Tennessee is working on the farm. I want to say it was like around 300 to 400 cattle. Not a huge farm, but not a small one either. I think this is the tournament that kind of lit a fire under me, going all the way back to playing advanced. I was winning a good amount of tournaments. I came down here, played the Music City Open, and got second in a playoff. I felt like I should have won this, and I didn't. So it just kind of gave me motivation to, do better. Whenever I come to Nashville, I'm probably going to gain 5 to 10 pounds this week. I'm not going to lie. I eat a lot of hot chicken. My favorite Nashville hot chicken is Hattie B's. There's like 4 or 5 locations here. It is very good. I would even go as far as saying it's the best chicken I've ever had. It's always nice to come home to Tennessee and play a tournament in your home state. They want to see their local player excel, and that's kind of how it feels here for me. I hope to win this weekend, more so than I would say years past, just because I haven't played good this year yet. I would really just like to get back out and, you know, make a statement. Say like, I had some off weeks and I'm back to playing how I want to play.
Obviously, expectations are always high with Chris Dickerson, any tournament in Tennessee, and just really any tournament on tour. I think he's still maintaining a 50% win rate, which is just crazy because he's always got a high number of tournaments played.
50%.
Yeah, he's just a natural-born winner, man. But you're going to see Chris and Nikko in that really tough position, and Nikko's laying down roller, it looks like.
Yeah, it's doable, but you do have Guardians right and short, and there's a huge left to right wind, and so it's going to push it to the right. Both of them going for the roller, both of them getting pushed to the right.
I didn't love that angle from Matty O, and there is OB down the hill, but it's got enough cut that it doesn't quite get all the way
Pretty
down there.
lucky.
Yeah, that was right in that in-between angle where it looked like a failed turnover and a failed roller simultaneously.
See if you have the power. And he doesn't.
No, that's going to be short. That's in that Guardians of the Galaxy spot.
Now, he's so far left, he's going to be able to throw this low. Oh, but he pulled it. Good lift?
Yeah, there's a good, it's hard to say exactly what the wind is doing here because these guys are teeing off about 3 hours later. But early in the day, there was a strong left to right from that position. So if the wind is consistent, then that should have pushed.
Look at this move. Makes the circle.
Yeah, that's a little bit deep at the pin, but very creative scramble there for Nikko. Not in the position you want to be after 2 shots on this opening hole.
Pretty tough hole.
Yeah,
honestly, today.
The conditions are tough. I mean, we've got a windy day. It's cold. I don't know what Chris is doing out here in a t-shirt.
It's muddy.
It's very slick on the ground. It's been raining. Chris trying to give it a little bit of a bid there. Getting out of harm's way there. Should have a relatively easy par putt coming.
We see a lot of this out here.
And Nikko unable to scramble on the first hole, so he's going to start his event with a bogey.
Let's talk about what makes this course tough really quick as we see.
Well, this kind of stuff right here.
Oh, 100%. You're right. So
yeah, you 20 feet away.
The rough here is the thickest you're going to see. There's not, the fairways are big, I feel like, but the rough, if you do manage to get in there, is so thick.
This is not a permanent course, right? This is just here for the tournament. Is that right?
You know what? I'm not a scientist, so I can't answer that. I'm a commentator.
Fair. Yeah, I'm not. Gosh, I should know this is a permanent or not, but
I think it's private.
Okay. Yeah. So it's got that feel of like a place where it gets broken in when the tournament comes to town. And that's
I know that this layout definitely isn't permanent.
Right.
But as I looked on the UDISC app to find the place, it said private. So
okay, there you go.
And it did come up on UDISC. So.
Well, not surprising to see a slow start for our league group, considering that was one of the tougher holes on the course, 4.21 average, and that's honestly a bit surprising to me, considering there was a tail left to right off the tee, which is not the worst wind, but it's just relatively open. There's not too much in the way, but the conditions are just not really like savory for scoring. It feels like it's going to be one of those types of rounds.
Yeah.
Hole 2 is a par 4, 723 feet, downhill tee shot, OB left, OB right, but you want to keep your disc right to access that angle going downhill left on your second shot through the tunnel. This is a good wide drive for Matty as it starts to hyzer.
Perfect.
He's going to like that a lot.
Yeah, and then the other thing that really makes this place tough is there's a lot of out of bounds. A lot of out of bounds lining the fairways. Then it's wet, and it's kind of just gross out. So,
Calvin, I like this drive as well. This is pushing that back edge tree line, but just putting the hyzer on and right next to Matty O. Those are ideal drives. You can get closer to the gap, but it requires so much unnecessary risk, I believe, that I think these guys are just trying to swing it out there to the right and just don't put bogey in play.
yeah.
And a good drive from Chris, and let's see how Nikko.
Similar action here. Highs are high. You do have a right to left crosshead, which is going to keep them right, which is good. It's kind of a helping win for the tee shot.
And this second shot is a daunting tunnel. The closer you get to that gap, it's really rewarding if you do get aggressive and pull it off. But this is a pretty scary little shot to hit because there is out of bounds right, and Chris is heading that direction. But fortunately, the tree line is pretty thick.
Out of bounds right. There's also out of bounds left. Any sort of kick that doesn't hit another tree is going to go out of bounds here.
Yeah, this is the third hardest hole on the course at a 4.33 average. Not an easy starting holes for this course, and it doesn't really finish easy either.
There we go. This needs to see. It's so tough to see if it's going to settle or kind of scoot, but with the soft ground, that's just...
That's a shot that doesn't get old. That's how you can stay relevant for 3 decades. If you can throw laser line drive straight shots.
Yeah, with a little bit of Anheuser, try it out. That shot travels to any course on the planet.
And Calvin a little bit off there. It's too much Anheuser as it goes down the middle of the fairway, but well short and out of position for the birdie.
I can't remember a hole where you can throw it 400 feet on a rope dead straight with a little Anheuser.
Yeah, that's not perfect.
It's not good.
Yeah.
That's why this guy is really good as well.
That's
except
right.
he does it at like right around 600.
Calvin. That was a great angle from back there. Gives a slight bid, and he's going to have a very short par tap in.
This is kind of the landing zone right here.
You see a lot of...
If you get any closer than this, oh my gosh, he almost makes it. If you get any closer than that, I mean, you did something right.
Yeah.
Like, that's how good Matty O's shot was from back there.
And Nikko has this to clean up his par.
Rock climbing. He's got the right shoes for it. Nope.
All right. And you know what? There's a lot of rocks on these greens, and I wouldn't be surprised to see someone else have a similar foot situation there on the green. It's a prevalent feature here on these greens.
Yeah, but do they have the right footwear for it?
That I can't answer that.
I can. Doubtful.
Yep.
Very doubtful.
Yep.
I'll answer it right now for you.
Matty O, beautiful birdie. One of only 12 players on the day.
Yeah, no bogues. That's nice. That's a good little action on this card for sure.
This hole is begging. There's a couple of quads out there, a ton of triples, doubles.
A couple Bogarts out there, huh?
Doubling of Bogarts.
Wow. Hole 3 though. Talk about a doozy.
Yeah, well, it's 277 feet.
Of pure nightmare.
But it's the hardest hole in the course, folks. Let's get straight into hole 3. That drone just started off the tee too quick. You can't quite tell how awkward this angle is, but you got this clump right here, right in the middle, and there's out of bounds left and right. There's another clump right there. That's not quite in the middle. You're trying to swing to the right of that, but the shot is like a very overstable Anheuser that breaks right and then hyzers back to the left, and there's a mandatory here early. Matt's just gonna go kind of straight.
That's nice because it doesn't kick left too far. You see right there past the basket, that out of bounds stake line, it's about 10 feet off the wood line to the left. Same goes for off the wood line on the right. So that could potentially be a double penalty. That's a nightmare situation.
That's
right
bad.
there.
That's going to be hard to scramble. It's not just the awkward angle.
That's a perfect shot right down the middle.
Right down the middle.
Sorry, doesn't work out here.
That's the issue, is how can you find your way around
Well,
that
this
clump?
guy's made a living off it. Let's see if he does it. Nope.
No.
Sorry, not even the best in the world can do it. All right, now they're all scrambling for...
Well, that's how you play hole
par.
3, is you throw a tee shot, regardless of how good it is, then you scramble for your par, and then you just try to become one of the few that don't take a bogey on it. It's... Calvin's going to
Make
have
sure
to
to
do
do
some
your gardening.
course cleanup. It's international course cleanup, and he went to UDISC.com and joined Trash Panda.
Oh, no. Hits a middle stump. At least they got rid of that tree psych stump. That's always a bummer.
Yeah, right down the middle. Just a little unfortunate break there for Calvin.
Honestly, if you have a nightmare and this isn't the hole you're playing, I don't know where you're playing, because even when you get off to the side, this is true facts, folks. There are thorns on these trees that are 6 inches long.
Yes. It's
And
like a Shrike's.
It's like the scariest thing you'll ever see in your life. Like, yeah, I got stabbed with one in my left hand.
Shrike's loving it. Disc
cried.
golfers are hating it.
I cried. Look at this move. Oh, well. Staring double bogey.
Yeah,
right in the face.
that's going to be a long putt for the double. I mean, for the single, but if he doesn't hit it, it would be a double.
Uh-oh.
That should be fine for Matt.
Yep. Look at how close that OB is. This is just...
Yeah, it's tough. And I don't disagree with the concept. The execution is close. I think that if they make some adjustments for the next time we come back here, I think this could be a really solid hole.
Yeah, I like the hole. I just don't like that you can get double penalized, kick left,
Yes,
out
and
of
be
bounds.
out of bounds. Yeah.
I think OB deep should be a thing, but I don't think OB right away. But I'm not a course designer. I'm barely a player at this point. So
Calvin in for the bogey, a good bogey save, if you can say that. And Nikko's going to take a bogey as well. And Matteo needs to make this to avoid joining Calvin and Nikko, and he does drill that one. So a good scramble for Chris and Matteo.
good scramble there.
Yeah. These first 3 holes are just, can you get through even par, and can you squeak out a birdie on one of them? If you can get one under through these first 3, I think you're off to a really hot start. It's a very tough opening set of 3 holes, but it starts to get a little bit easier on these next couple.
Disc golf keeps growing. At the Power Disc Golf Academy, we believe in adding power to the player to level up their game. That's why Ulibarri, a top 50 ranked player, is taking the past 18 years of teaching disc golf and boiling it down into lessons across every subject. From driving, to putting, to drills, to practice, to mental game, and much more, all to give you the power to grow as a player. Grow your game with the Power Disc Golf Academy.
Hole 4. Paul, we got a long way to go.
Yeah, par 5, 1,112 footer. Out of bounds left, out of bounds right. Pretty easy to stay in bounds here, especially with the left-right cross when I don't suspect these guys having a problem. It's a second shot through here that's kind of tough, except for right is safe. So they're going to go first shot, 450, 400 feet. Second shot, big Anheuser over the trees. They don't even have to go through the gap, really. And then just a baby approach in. This is one of the easier holes on the course, I believe.
You know what? That being said, I thought it would be, considering that it's pretty wide open. And I mean, you're given the entire width of Tennessee on this second shot. That being said, we don't play a hole that averages below par until hole 8.
Yeah.
Until hole 8. When do you ever see that on the Disc Golf Pro Tour?
Yeah, so this would be considered one of the easier ones.
Yeah, it's
right?
closest to par of these holes.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
it's a 5.09 average, but still averaging a par 5, averaging over par.
It's
with,
the conditions. Good conditions, this thing's just going to get taken apart.
yeah, this one surprised me. I thought this was going to be top 3 easiest,
Yeah.
but it just isn't.
Well, that's because in practice we had great winds. It was easy
Yeah.
to get way over there, and now it's slippery, and you're kind of depressed because you just played hole 3.
Yeah, you just haven't quite figured out how to play that hole.
You got a
That's
thorn in your hand.
Yep. Pretty decent tee shots here. It really is just a matter of not getting yourself out of position. It's not really much to say because these guys are just stepping up and saying, all right, get out there, try to finish on the left side just to open up this big Anheuser second. And the key is just get way right on this
Yeah, like
second
how are you
shot.
going to mess that up? He's going to be in the circle.
Yeah.
He's got to be in the circle.
What do you mean circle?
No, on his next shot. I'm saying, how do you mess the next shot up?
Oh.
It's like a pretty easy approach. It is on the basket is on
High
like
rise?
on a high rise on a hill.
On a high rise on the hill. And that's
Where it gets tricky. Exactly.
I think that's probably where this hole really started to average over par. It was just on the putts.
Yeah, that's why I'd like to see more statistics. Like, how is this as far as people hitting the green?
Right.
And how many people are then still not getting the birdie even though they're hitting the green in regulation? Because that's probably pretty high, and it would be one of the easier ones to...
Nice shot shape for Nikko out there to the right near Matty O. I think it would be an interesting thing to see what are the 2-putt and 3-putt percentages on holes that have high rises versus just traditional baskets.
Oh, he gets through. Does he slow down? Yeah, just fine. See, what I found out on this hole is that if you go over the trees left, you can find out of bounds on the other side of those trees.
Ah, someone did that on your card?
Yep. So there is out of bounds left. It's just past all the crud.
Coming in hot. Did that catch a little bit of the basket? The halal guys slowing down the approach for Chris. It's good advertisement for them. Nikko with a nice soft flex. That's going to stay high on the hill.
I think that's what you kind of want.
I love that. I was just going to say, I like the idea of not throwing hyzer because you're taking away the skip. And that's a really well done.
See, these guys have putter approaches in, and that's my point. Is you mess that up, that's kind of on you.
Yeah. You go back to the drawing board. If you can't execute that shot at the top level, then you probably didn't come into this event with high hopes, anyways. And
These guys have the hopes.
Yeah, these guys are all hopeful, and I that's kind of why. Right
I mean,
there.
Chris is down the hill, but he hit the bucket. Like, calm down, people.
Yeah, he's going for
Seriously.
the Eagle 3, of course. Nikko, this is a little bit scary going down the hill, but boy, he steps up and knocks that down with some authority.
All right. Tough. This is what's tough right here. Up the hill, swirling winds, jumper. Yep, easy.
Oh, solid. Just outside the circle. That's kind of a perfect spot for like the Kevin Jones, the James Conrads, the Chris Dickersons of the world. They just like that little bit of hop into the shot. And just outside the circle, it's as close as you can be to do that. They make
The thing
living
is
off that.
when you're down the hill, though, when you're just outside the circle on one of these buckets, it plays more like 40 feet than 33 feet.
Sure.
A little bit farther. I have a really tough time when I'm way down there just in the circle because it does play that much farther. That's a great start frame.
Yeah, it
I'm
is.
glad I don't sound like an absolute doofus right now after I called this hole one of the easier ones.
Yeah,
Usually it's like, oh, double bogey, triple bogey.
Well, that's how I assumed the hole would be played. And Matt Orum now, he is at 200. That is a really good start, folks.
Yeah.
Through 4 holes, getting half of them. That is getting it done. On to hole 5. We have a par 4, 587 feet. But as the crow flies, it's probably closer to 350 feet. You just can't quite get there off the tee. You have this out of bounds area. There's a good shot right there. There's a mandatory right off the tee that prevents the players going hyzer over that parking lot. There's 2 ways you can play. You can throw the forehand low and try to hope that you hit one of those 2 or 3 gaps that there's up the fairway, or there's this big high Anheuser shot that brings in a very easy birdie, but it can also get you into a lot of trouble.
Oh, no man's land. Step out, sidearm, maybe flex or something.
I think it's very possible, but it's not ideal.
Yeah, it seems like the easiest hole on the course, but then, like you said, there's all kinds of windows. You got to be kind of perfect with your tee shot.
Again, this is another one that surprises me. 4.03. I would have not thought that this hole would have averaged over par. And like you said, if the conditions do improve,
it's gonna be just a slaughter fest on some of these holes. I mean, it's just the best way I can describe the course. Hands up.
Yeah, okay, hands up.
It's just gooey. It's a gooey course.
Why did my hands go up for that?
Just stating facts, bro. Thanks for being on board with me, though. Got support. That's a pretty good shot.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's got access to the second shot. And I mean, it's not as far as the others, but he's easily got the best second shot coming.
Yep. Like that. Turned over, though. Needs to hurry.
I think it's fine.
Giddy up.
I think it's more than fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's inside his wheelhouse, and he actually throws a beautiful shot. And I mean, look what Calvin has. Just nearly nothing.
He says, really? Yeah, pretty much nearly nothing there. That's 100 feet. What's interesting about Nikko's sidearm is when he throws it straight high like that. Like, I don't know how hard he throws. You know?
Yeah, sure.
He's sometimes he just rips them, and sometimes he doesn't throw the sidearm very well. And so that one caught me off guard. Adio's going to be pinched over there to the right, and I think he's safe, which is good. There is out of bounds, kind of tucked.
Had that
guarding
gone,
the pin position.
Sorry. Had that gone out of bounds, that would have absolutely been a double penalty because he would have been within 40 feet.
Yep.
With just no chance of making it. But yeah, if he did stay safe, but I mean, he's going to have absolutely zero visibility of the pin.
There you go. Ooh, cutting it close there, Bubba.
Yeah, I'm surprised that it didn't go out of bounds. The way that thing was moving, it certainly looked like it was tracking for a disaster, but he's actually got an opportunity to maybe get a little highlight.
I like it. Uh-oh. And now he has an opportunity to kind of
save a par.
Yeah. Getting a little awkward out here. Okay. Can he go back-to-back outside the circs? No. No, he can't.
But here's the thing about Chris's round. He's given himself opportunities. Aside from hole one, he's really been like, cool.
Oh, sit.
So Nikko, after the nice putt on 4, unable to collect the birdie on 5 with a great second shot, and
switched to the spinner there. This is weird. Oh no. Yeah, he switched to the spinner. He went push on the nice putt down the hill, and now he's switching to this little spin move.
No one on tour switches their putt more throughout a round than Nikko. And usually does it with pretty good success. He's
a good putter.
It seems like a foreign concept to me to think about changing your putt mid-round, but he is able to adapt to the scenario and the situation of his putt usually pretty seamlessly. Matteo unable to save the par. He's going to take a bogey, and that one's frustrating because he was only 55, 60 feet away on his third and unable to get up and down from there. That is going to be
well, like you said, he wanted that highlight, and sometimes that can bait you into a bad score, and it does right there. Even for the best in the world, sometimes it's just fine to just put it right on their bucket and move on. Especially after getting a good break and not going, it'll be right there. I said a lot about that guy just now.
You sure did.
I'm going to stop talking.
And you can see, 7 under as the hot round, that usually warrants some respect from players going into a round, knowing that that's the best score out there. Man, that's usually around 9 to 12 is about 16. The range we usually see. Yeah, depending on if it's Memorial or not. Hole 6 is a par 5, 950 and 76 feet up the hill. This is the 4th most difficult hole on the day. And you can see that circle there for the landing zone. That is a prime spot, but it risks going out of bounds left or early, which is just devastating for this hole. You have to get this one in that good spot if you have any chance of birdieing this hole, I believe.
Yeah, it's a good point. I think it's playing really hard because it is a slight headwind. And so it's playing long.
And right to left.
Yes.
So
worse wind.
If you hyzer out at all, you are going way left. So the key here is keeping this low, and this is what I'm talking about. This is in big time danger of going out of bounds left, and it does.
But it's almost like that's the miss, because then you have access to get into the landing spot. If you play it safe to the right, such a tough shot to get in position for the birdie.
Really is.
Like these are like they have sidearms over the top. That's about it.
He's
Maybe
got a pitch.
spike hyzer, and then the shot coming into the green is a 330-foot shot, pinched off right and left with a crazy wind. So this whole good design.
Really good design. And this is a good looking shot from Matt Orum. I mean, every bit more left you get off the tee, it makes the shot exponentially better on that second.
Oh, this guy's going super shot.
Yeah, there's a big high Anheuser, I suppose. I mean, is this a roller though? No, it's just flex.
Whoa.
If it starts flexing now, it's going to be fine.
Is this the best shot I've ever seen?
It just
out of bounds.
Yeah, out of bounds.
Okay,
but I mean, I love the idea. And if any player's going to execute that shot, why not Nikko? Just a little bit too much turn.
I kind of like it because he can still get a par.
Yeah, he's going to have good access to on his 4th shot. Yeah.
See this shot where Chris's smart shot, everything looks good. He looks like a genius, but his next shot's going to be
330 and kind of fast, because that green does slope downhill past the basket.
This is the mistake you see some people make. Sometimes they catch that left side. They throw it too straight, catch that left side, but he accesses the tunnel perfectly. He might have the sidearm flex in.
Let's see what Calvin is left with.
He's just going to put it to the landing zone up there. Oh,
does he overturn this? Oh, no, it's low enough. Okay. That's going to be fine. Mm-hmm. Should have a decent chance at saving the par.
Look at this shot. He's got to go flex with super overstable. And like you said, really fast. That's a great shot, man.
Watch. Slow down. Okay. So you can see that out of bounds start to make its way into your picture there on the left side of the green. And Chris just putting the brakes on. He's at the edge of the circle, but inside C1, putting for birdie.
This is just a perfect spot. That was a great Anheuser shot there from MPO, and that's
dissected this hole very well. Well done.
So good. Mm-hmm. So scary. You see, in order for him to get into a perfect spot, he's 8 feet from the out of bounds right there. There's a lot of space for this hole to just feel like you're just kind of out there wandering around, and that's going to be a par save for Calvin. Well played after the out of bounds tee shot. And take another look at this one. And look how close he was to out of bounds. I didn't realize he was that close. The closer you are to the OB, the better off you are on your last shot. Like this is a pretty easy shot.
Yeah. Just a stock hyzer. And let's see how close Nikko gets.
Really
pretty close. Should be manageable from there.
Push or spin, you call it.
Oh, man. I never know why he chooses what he chooses. So I wish I could. I'll say push. I'll just throw my money in at push.
It's going to be a bad move. I think he's going to be spinning.
after missing the last one, he's just going to change it up.
I don't know. Looks like a spin. Yep.
Yeah, and spin the win inside left. That will be a par save for Nikko and a good birdie putt for Chris. And that will put him at 2 under. So you guys maybe take your attention and go up to the top right of the screen. We've got a new graphic showing where the leaders are. If it is one player outright, we'll have their name up there. But right now there's a 2-way tie at 7 under for Luke Humphreys and I believe is it
Ezra?
Is it?
I think it's Ezra 8-year-old.
We'll just wait just 2 seconds.
Well, no.
We'll take a look
1,
here.
2. I mean,
1, 2, skip a few. Ezra Ader hold.
Hey.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought he was in with his round. I knew he shot 7 under.
Who were we kidding? That was yesterday. This was Ezra. I mean,
All right, as we get on to hole 7, par 3, 535 feet, and just downhill the whole way. I don't know exactly what the elevation is. I think it's 25 feet below the tee, but we're throwing into a headwind. I think if the headwind's still as brisk as it was early in the day, yeah, you can see that jersey moving.
yeah, I think it's a right to left cross, actually. I think it's a helping wind from right to left.
Oh, then you played it at a different time than
Yeah.
I did. Because it was just not.
Oh,
I like what Chris is doing there by going straight. Instead of, oh my gosh, he parked it.
Who wouldn't like it? Yeah, that'd be tough not to
Wow.
like.
I see a lot of players going hyzer here, and with that wind that we had earlier in the day, a hyzer just wasn't getting there. But if you go flat and straight and stay under the wind a bit, then you can get there. And Chris just throws one of the best shots we've seen in a long time. I mean, it's hard to really describe how good that shot is in this wind.
Well, here's the hyzer. Let's see if he gets a lift. Flattens out on him. Got a lift. Once it flattens, you're done. It's going to be short.
Yeah.
He needs that to stay on hyzer the whole time and let the wind kind of push him. This guy doesn't, I mean, what? He's just going to take it right over that tree a bit. Yep, right over the tree. That's raw power. That's his most stable disc.
It's interesting seeing players get there. I played with Anthony Barella, who can throw the disc 800 feet, and he threw a big hyzer and he came up 75 feet short. So that just kind of tells you the
Watch this
conditions
one.
of the
Here's Nikko
Yeah.
coming in. This looks pretty good to me. I mean,
Sure.
that's almost there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it must have been a kind of a swirling wind.
Yeah, it was changing throughout the day for sure. Just a little bit though, which, wow, Matty O's shot, which looked like it was, maybe 50 feet short, was actually closer to 100.
Yeah. You see him slip right there on the jumper? Gooey. Just gooey out there.
Oh, put your hands up.
Hands up, gooey. Oh, that's a nice nick. So it doesn't keep flying down the hill. Calvin, he's off to a slow start on this course. This could help. That doesn't help.
Good effort though. I like seeing Calvin miss high. I mean, if he is missing,
I love it. I mean, playing against him,
yeah.
couldn't ask for anything else.
It just seems like that's the most confident version of Calvin. And a huge birdie for Chris. That brings him to 3 under, and now he's officially off to a good start. I mean, he's safe par.
Anything under par right now on
Totally.
this course is really good. The course is gooey. Hands up.
So we've done it. We've gotten through one of the harder stretches on our recent tour. I don't remember a 7-hole stretch where every hole averaged above par, but that is the way we
It's
start
funny
here.
that this hole is the 14th most difficult.
One,
Well, fifth? No, fourth.
this last hole was the 5th,
Yeah.
and we are approaching the 5th easiest hole coming up here in just a moment.
Oh, so like, hands up. Go ahead.
Yeah, just gooey. Just gooey, folks. And
That's too much.
not too much has changed in that leaderboard.
Fun hole right here.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, just a 300 footer right down the middle. You really want to take it from left to right on a flex line if you want your best chance to get up there. But people are playing the sidearm kind of hyzer to the right side of the green just to give yourself a look. That's not going to happen on this card. These guys are pretty good with the backhand. You're going to see a few flexors. If it starts out on an hyzer to the left, you make this gap bigger. That's why they're doing it. So pushing right makes the gap pretty big. That's nice.
Yeah, a little bit of ground play issues there for Chris.
That's because this place just got put in yesterday and there's just roots and...
Yeah. Nadia's going to have to avoid slipping on his disc on the tee pad.
He slipped, though. Pretty bad right there.
Oh, boy. That is a very bad kick, bad roll.
It's a bogey. At least.
As he would say, that's in Cambodia.
This is a stable disc.
Yeah, it's
That's so good.
Calvin line all day. He just dreams of shots like this that have a slight bend right to left. Fairway driver is the disc of choice for most players with this low ceiling.
If you were a disc, what disc would you want to be? As Nikko kind of pulls it just a hair.
Most of the time, I'd want to be anything that Nikko's throwing on this hole. I mean, this is a shape that we've seen him execute for a long
that's
time.
letting one go. What in general?
I'd want to be the disc that just had the slowest, longest left to right turn for a big right hand backhand player. I just want to be like a Garrett Girthy emperor, just.
And then, I guess that answers my question. Then whose bag would you want to be in?
I think when Garrett throws a distance shot, it's one of the most pretty things to watch. I'd probably want to be a Garrett Girthy distance driver.
Love that. Get up there. Nice up shot there. All right, we got some birdie looks now. And we got a long bogey look.
Chris, another effort for birdie, and this one just a little bit short. On that same note, the last disc I'd want to be is anything that Anthony Burrell is ripping, because it's just like that's a turbulent ride.
Oof. Sit down. Yeah, it's a turbulent ride, and it's like you want to be in there for a day. You want to go fast for a day.
Like Garrett Girthy distance driver is like riding like an RV across country, just a smooth long ride. Calvin off the top, and Matt Orum is going to be faced with a double bogey after he misses his bogey effort, a really tough hole 8. And barely in that left side.
And that gives you a good perspective of how, like I said in the beginning of this, the rough here is the roughest you'll see almost anywhere. He had no way to go forward. He had to throw it directly sideways.
And that doubles on his third shot, though. He's just got to get closer.
But he's still taking bogey on his third shot, whatever.
Yes.
Like, the rough is so bad, there's no way to save a par unless he throws it in from 200 feet.
What are these guys doing leaving their discs on the tee? What is happening here? I feel like that's a strange trend that we're seeing here. Chris Dickerson still outclassing the card at 300.
I think it's because it's elevated tees, and so you'd have to jump down, put it, or drop it down farther.
Okay, interesting. Hole 9's this is a strange one. This is a very, I don't see anyone going this line, but maybe someone on this card might, but very, very tight tunnel down the right side with out of bounds down the right side the whole way. The play is going to be a big forehand flex, but it is such a wide and high opening here that you really have to, or do this. The problem is this is the scraggliest, widest tree in North America. I mean, it is so hard to get around this tree.
Yeah, one of the things I don't appreciate is when they give you the little backhand, as this one's not. This isn't good.
No, this isn't.
Is when people give you the straight shot, which if you throw it down there, nice. It's a nice shot. Mm-hmm. But then they put OB like 3 inches to the right. Like, come on, give me a break, dude. Calm down. You're not that good.
And yeah, you can just see it. There's just such a small window for this flex play. And that straight shot is just not appealing to these players. Everyone.
Well, it's because of the OB. I guarantee some people would go down there if there wasn't out of bounds 8 feet to the right.
And Mattio's starting this wide enough, but it's just never going to get right enough, I don't think.
No, but that's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, to have a putt from outside the circle, I wouldn't have put my money on Mattio's being the closest on the card with the forehand. I thought Chris Dickerson's line was pretty smart going the low play.
Look at this bomb of a putt. Jeez, that's a nice putt. That was way back.
He has been hitting some absolute bombs this season.
Yeah.
Calvin has been
He's doing everything
electric
right.
on the putting green. And it's not even putting green anymore. That's the fairway green, but he's been making these big putts from inside 100 feet all
I mean,
season.
that's a tough little upshot for Nikko. You had to hit a nice little gap there. I mean, anywhere on this hole. It's short.
If you're
awkward.
Anywhere underneath the
Look at
scraggler,
that.
you can see that there's just a bunch of lines. I mean, like Chris is actually just straight up under it. If you're on the back side of the scraggle tree, you're having to get creative.
But even that shot he just threw is stressful. One little mishap with that touch shot right there, little early, little late, little high, little low. You're talking about a 30-footer. You don't want that. Promise.
Matteo hoping he can knock down this putt from about 45 feet. A little jump and too high. And this needs to slow down. As you can see, that out of bounds just 20 feet behind the pin. Matteo, after his solid start at 2 under through the first 4, which is just absolutely incredible out here, he finishes the front 9 at even par with a double and a single bogey. And Nikko will wrap up his front at 1 over. This hole came in averaging even par, meaning there was only a single hole on the front 9 that actually played under par. I don't know the last time that's happened on tour, but that will just tell you how difficult this starting 9 is here at Friends at Mill Ridge Park. So all pars for our group.
You think it's going to average that high for the rest of the tournament? No chance, right?
It's just,
There's just no
it's a
chance.
condition thing. I mean, I think, just what happens on tour is players, as they play the event, they get better. They understand how the scoring works, how the pacing works, the landing zones and all that. All the stuff you do in practice is great, but I feel like it's just paramount to get the actual tournament experience. I do think these scores will improve throughout the week, but if the conditions don't improve, I mean, I wouldn't be too surprised to see them stay somewhat near where they're at right now.
So you give me a guess for best round of the week.
I think 10 under. Maybe if the conditions get ideal, I think we could see an 11 under. But these guys are so good that it never surprises me. The hot round hardly ever surprises me these days.
Right.
But I think we'll see something in double digits by the end of the week. I think Paul Macbeth was saying that he thought first round there'd be double digits.
Okay.
So we'll see if somebody can get to that double digit mark by the end of this 9. If it's somebody on this card, it's going to be Chris Dickerson, and he's going to have to light up the back.
Yeah. Thank you to the Founders Club, too. You guys
Totally.
are awesome.
Well, thank you guys for watching round 1, front 9 here in Nashville, Tennessee for the Music City Open. We got the back 9 coming right up.